Welcome everybody, long time no see. I got a commission from somebody to make a bookshelf. However, as extra I needed to add some decorations and also to spray paint the bookshelf black at the end of the day. So, as always, first thing first is to make each face of each plank flat. Here I'm basically eliminating the heel in the middle, taking it down, and then after that I'm going to check for twist as you see me doing here, just to make sure the board is 100% flat for a reference face. So to eliminate the twist, I'm just taking the high spots out of each corner, as you can see here, and then rechecking again until I'm satisfied with the flatness. To get the desired width I need for the bookcase, I have to join two planks together. So here I am basically mating the two surfaces together. And here we have some glue up, so for each piece I have to do this separately. After each piece is glued up, it's now time to square all the edges and get it to the correct length. I'm using my Japanese plane here because sometimes I just like to use it and it's convenient for this type of task. Also just checking for squareness on the reference face and then tuning it appropriately. With the one side squared, now I'm just sawing out the other side to get the correct length and just basically tuning it up so it will look nice. The last part is basically to get the other side of the face to the correct thickness. After marking down the lines on each side, I'm basically removing the bulk of the waste with my scrape plane. This plane is made such that you can easily take out big chunks of wood, but as you can see it doesn't leave a nice surface. That will be cleaned up after the majority of the waste has been removed. And this is the part where I just basically smooth down after removing all the waste, just to make sure everything is still flat and aligned. Here I'm basically sawing out all the tenon parts for the side pieces, as well as the piece that's going to be in the middle of the bookcase. To make the tenons or the joint a little bit neater at the end of the day, I'm basically just making a little bit of a recess or a rabbet on each side, so that basically the chiseling of the mortise part won't show through. I'm using my router plane here to get the job done. It's quick and much easier to do, and it's very accurate. After chopping out the waste, last part for the tenons is just basically to pare out the last remaining waste and to make sure it will have a nice fit at the end of the day. With the tenons done, it's now time to chop out the mortise pieces, as you can see here. This will be straight through mortise pieces, meaning it will stick out on the other side, the tenons. And I've decided to do that just basically to make it a little bit more aesthetic at the end of the day, and basically to show everybody that it is mortised and tenon. After completing each piece, it's basically just a quick test to see how it looks like at the end of the day, and then marking up where I want to have the sides done on the tenon parts. part of the request is basically to add decorations to the sideboards and to the top of the bookcase. So here I'm starting out basically reading out, as they say, each of the sides. And of course the front pieces that's going to show on the bookcase, I also decide to add some reading to it. Here I'm just rounding out the tenant parts so that it doesn't look so blocky at the end of the day. Here I'm busy basically adding decorations on one of the side panels. Work in progress, as you can see. Basically in this step I'm basically carving out the pattern that I laid down there of the plant using a V tool just to get the shapes outlined. After that and some cleaning up on the sides of each piece, I'm basically digging out the waste that's in between to make a low relief carving at the end of the day. Here I'm doing the same for the top part, except this is quite of a big surface area, so I'm just using a bigger gouge at the end of the day. But again, the same idea, removing what we will call waste to get a low relief, and then just making it smooth at the end of the day with number 2 chisel. After completing the reliefs, now I'm just adding some quick detail to each leaf just to make it a little bit stand out more. Once again, I'm using the V tool to accomplish this. This part just shows doing a little bit of round over on each of the leaves, so it's not so harsh, the transition area from the leaf to the low relief carving, and to round out about on some parts to make it look more natural. And of course I can't forget the rosettas, so basically here I'm carving out each petal, making it go lower to the center point, and then basically just making it a little bit neater and also rounding about at the end of the edges. And finally, after all of that, when the piece is completed, I'm basically now adding some basically texture or detail to the carved out parts. I just find it aesthetically pleasing having these little bumps and knocks in it at the end of the day, then just remaining plain. So here we have one of the side pieces done. The other one looks exactly the same for the other side of the book cabinet. And yes, that basically concludes then part 1 of this series. In the next part I will continue with the top part to add decorations there, making the shelves and the back pieces, and then hopefully gluing everything together and spray painting it black. Thank you very much for watching. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next part. Cheers!